I fell in love for the first time with A and got my heart completely shattered. Should I stop talking to her? First, a little bit of context. I have never had any real feelings for anyone. I have never been in a relationship, nor did I ever really feel like I wanted to be in one. About 3 months ago, I was bored and started using a dating app. One day, I matched this beautiful girl with somewhat similar interests to mine. While I was overthinking what I should say to start the conversation, she beat me to it with a witty reaction to my bio. We started talking at midnight and kept talking until 5 a.m. For the next few weeks, we kept talking, and I was really starting to like her, and I got the feeling that she started to like me as well. About 6 weeks ago, we went on a date, which was my first date ever. We talked, grabbed something to eat, and went to an arcade after. That day, I felt a sort of happiness that I had not felt since my early childhood. When we got home, we both said that we really enjoyed it, and she even immediately suggested a second date, but we didn't put a date on it then because she was going to be quite busy the following weeks. For a week, everything stayed the same, but then one day she didn't respond to me for over 24 hours. I stressed myself out super hard because I legit thought something happened to her, but it turned out she just had a really shitty day mentally and didn't feel like talking. Then another week of things staying normal except for her answers being slower than usual, but I didn't think much of it at the time. Then one day she tells me that she really likes talking to me but that she isn't in the right headspace for a relationship. After a bit more talking, she tells me that she isn't sure if she is into guys because the only person she has ever had feelings for was a girl. This day completely shattered my world because, at this point, I was quite convinced that we would at least have given this relationship thing a shot. I was legit in physical pain from the sadness for like a whole week. She did say that she would love to stay friends, which was somewhat of a consolation to me because, regardless of feelings, I really liked talking to her. But her replies got slower and slower. Then she didn't reply for a week because she felt really sick. I understand that when you are really sick, you shouldn't be on your phone, but I feel like you could at least tell the people you consider friends what is happening. Then once again, everything was normal for a few days until she didn't reply to me for 11 days because she was very busy physically and mentally. Because of this, I severely started doubting if she actually wants to stay friends because, again, I feel like you would tell your friends that you were going through something like this instead of not answering for 11 days. That brings us to this past week, where she responded every 1 to 2 days. At this point, I really don't know what to do. It still really hurts, but I've accepted that a relationship is very unlikely, but it's really hard to accept the way she's talking or rather not talking to me now even though she told me that she really wants to stay friends. I have really lost myself for the time being. I need to constantly keep myself distracted, or I just start thinking about her again. Every day, I still wake up and go to sleep thinking about her. I have tried so much to forget about all this because it genuinely makes existing painful. Comment. So, after reading this, I'm thinking you didn't so much fall in love with her as you seem to think, but, you just simply had an infatuation with someone. She isn't interested in being friends. If she had interest, she wouldn't go 11 days without contacting you. Unless she is seeing someone else. And when she is in contact with you, it's because she has no one else giving her attention. Honestly, just end contact with her and move on. Out of sight, out of mind. Trust me, you'll be better off in the long run. A relationship is not unlikely, it's plain not going to happen. Yes, no contact will help you actually grieve and move on. She told me that she really wants to stay friends. She's lying and using you for attention to feed her ego. Forget about her. You were a distraction for a few weeks, and now she has moved on to other things and probably other people. If it were me, I wouldn't even try to be friends with her. What value do you get out of being friends with her? Do you share a particular interest or hobby? Would she ever even go out with you as a friend to do something together that you both like to do? I mean, what would she provide you if you continued in a role as her friend? My guess is she would provide nothing, and you would be the one trying to keep the friendship alive. Just block her and forget about her. If you don't want to block her, just stop reaching out to her altogether. Next story 2. My girlfriend doesn't trust because of a weird phone call. My partner and I have been seeing each other for around a year, and in this time I haven't done anything that would in any way indicate that I have been, or would be unfaithful. She knows when I go out, I normally tell her exactly who with as well, because it's always either my friends or my family, and I have never even thought about as much talking to anyone else in a non-platonic way. But about 3 weeks ago she received a strange phone call at 1:30 a.m. from an unknown number, and on the other line there was a woman telling her that they don't know each other, but that I've been speaking to her, but it's not nothing more, just speaking, but she feels bad so she felt she should tell her. Keep in mind that as far as I'm aware she never mentioned me, or my partner by name, and just referred to me as her boyfriend. She, quite rightfully, called me very freaked out the next day telling me to be honest and to not lie etc. and to tell her if I've been speaking to anyone else. Naturally I said no and asked what's going on, and after a bit of convincing she finally told me everything. I was shocked, annoyed, confused, because I have no idea who would possibly do that, because none of my friends would, not that they would have her number or any means of obtaining it, and I doubt that any of hers would either. My current theory is that it's some cruel prank by somebody in a uni group chat that she's in. But anyway, I tried to reassure her that nothing's happening. I don't know who that was, but that I've not been just speaking to anyone either. I haven't given her number to anyone and so on, and said that when I get home from work we'd figure it out. The further we got was me getting her to make a GDPR request to her phone provider to maybe somehow at least get the number that she got a call from, but she's never followed up on me with that, and when I brought up the fact that I'm still worried about that phone call and the impact it would have on her, she said, "Oh, why would you bring that up? I completely forgot about it, so I left it for the time being." Fast forward to today when I just hung out with an old friend of mine who doesn't get out of the house a lot, and when she asked I said, "Oh, I was just with X, we did this and now I'm going home," to which she followed up with a bunch of suspicious questions and then asked if I have any pictures of us together from today. Now I understand her suspicion, but I was also very hurt at the complete lack of trust, so I sent her some pictures but also made it clear that I am disappointed that she asked, because I thought it was behind us and that she would trust me more than that. In response, she got upset with me for not understanding her situation, and how can I say that after the phone call that she got, so I cut the call short because it was really just escalating for no reason, while I was still out in public and did not want to air my business out to everyone else in front of the McDonald's. So I guess my question is, am I so in the wrong for not wanting her to ask 21 questions when I just want to hang out with one of my friends for a couple of hours followed by photographic proof? Or should I have handled the situation differently? I still don't know what that phone call was about, but I don't feel like it's very fair that I'm having to prove my innocence for something that I didn't do, while being accused by somebody I don't know, and I just feel frustrated and defeated. Comment. So, that phone call she got, never happened. She was testing you to see if she could get you to confess to something. Now, as a bonus, she has that phone call card that she can play whenever she wants so that she can be controlling and manipulative. I'd be concerned with why she's projecting so hard onto you. Typically, when someone starts with these types of behaviors, it's them projecting because they are the ones doing something wrong. This is someone that knows her. Either she was put up to this by someone else who wants to break you up, or she herself wants to break you up. The woman provided no proof, didn't name you by name, or anything. She claims she doesn't know your GF, yet somehow she managed to get her number and knows you two are dating. Maybe think of this as a gift because you are finding out that you shouldn't continue with this woman. It's understandable. Perhaps speak with her and ask her what you can do to allay her worry. You sent photographic proof, so that really should have been enough. If she keeps bringing it up, definitely see a good couples therapist, if you can. It wasn't your fault that the phone call happened, but you do need to care about how much it stressed her. I wish y'all well. Next story 3. My parents met my boyfriend once. They hate him because he's feminine. Now what do I do? Good morning. I still live at home with my parents, in the USA, for context. I'm going to grad school and working full-time but don't have the money right now to move out. Boyfriend and I have been together for a reasonable amount of time. He's fantastic. He's so in touch with who he is as a person and has a relatively high EQ to balance me out. I haven't felt this safe or happy in a relationship for a good while. When we fight, we have constructive and respectful conversations that always have a takeaway for both of us. We're long distance, relatively close, think a state over. So, I want him to start sleeping over mine, so he doesn't have to make a long drive twice in one day. I began the process of introducing him to my parents so that this could happen. I've been nervous, because they're conservative people, in the social sense, but he was so excited to meet them I didn't want to say no. I only mention this because I have to. My boyfriend is bisexual, and wears his hair long and dyed, down below his shoulders, with streaks. I may not be gay, but I couldn't care less who he's dated, or done, in the past, because he's mine now. And I could care less about hair bald, shaved, curly, dyed, etc., who cares? He's a handsome guy with a fantastic personality. And it's not my hair to control. I have not and will never tell my parents he's not straight. It's not my information to share, and apparently, it's better if they don't know. My parents, specifically my mother, were immediately turned off by this. We've been fighting all week, because my choices have consequences, and his long hair and feminine voice, hinting they clocked he was not straight, indicate mental instability and poor grooming. He's no longer welcome in our home. She's willing to get to know him further for me, but have underscored that she already isn't a fan. Once they've made their minds up, it's difficult to change them. I quite literally don't know what to do. This would destroy my boyfriend if I told him. He tried so hard, ironed his shirt the day before, brought my mom's favorite wine, and my dad's favorite snack. I don't want to be a vehicle of, what is suspect is, homophobia. And I'm in a spot where he'd be interacting with my parents to some extent, as I will be living at home for at least another year. What should I do to combat this? What should I say to my mother? Do I mention this to my boyfriend at all? What are my next steps? I don't want to break up with him, but it's looking like the relationship has limited viability due to my present position. And that sucks, because I love him so genuinely for who he is that I don't want to lose him. Comment. What is a reasonable amount of time? How long have y'all actually dated for? I do think you should tell him. If he is going to be coming over, then he has to know what dynamics he is walking into. You can do your best to stand up for him, but the rest is up to your parents. If he doesn't feel comfortable or welcome over there, then you likely won't see him much. It'll be something you guys have to overcome together, and it's up to him to choose if he wants to put himself in that situation. I think you should tell your boyfriend and also stand up to your parents for him. That way you are being honest with him but also standing by his side. If he is not satisfied by you standing up for him, then that's a good indicator that you should break up. If he accepts the situation and appreciates your efforts and doesn't give you any grief, then your relationship probably has legs. I really don't see you bringing them around on this one. You can tell him, which will be devastating, but he should know, but you'll probably have to distance from your parents.